There's two kinds of people, my friend.
Those who've played VR and those who haven't. I thought this the perfect opportunity to have a VR headset showdown between three of the most popular and affordable headsets in the US, as Pimax is currently having a special sales event. If you already own a VR headset, Pimax will give you up to $100 off, depending on which headset you already have when you purchase a Pimax Crystal Lite. It's not a trade-in. Keep your old headset, sell it, do whatever. It's a thank you for upgrading to Pimax. You can also try the headset for up to 14 days. If you're not satisfied, you can return it. I'll put the links in the description. Now let's get into the comparison. Starting off with the screens, the Pimax Crystal Lite has QLED and mini LED panels with local dimming. The PSVR2 is going to use dual OLED panels, while the Quest 3 uses LCD panels. QLEDs excel in brightness and color vibrancy, while OLEDs are known for their perfect blacks. So I'm going to give first place to the OLED, with the QLED coming in very close in second, with LCDs last. Next comparison is resolution. The clear winner is Pimax with 2880 by 2880 pixels per eye.
It's massive.
The Quest 3 is in second with 2064 by 2208, and the PSVR2 bringing up the rear with 2000 by 2040.
I've been through a lot.
One of the places where you can really see all that resolution is in the movie theater, and this is one of Steam VR's movie theaters, and I've got the whole place to myself. How cool is that? And this is where those QLED panels really shine, as the brights are very bright and the darks with the local dimming are very dark, and the colors are just vividly vibrant. And not just resolution, you're getting 35 pixels per degree, which is a lot of pixels packed into a little space, and that's going to elevate the clarity and sharpness of your picture. And you're getting this full quality image because of the DisplayPort connection. Both the Pimax and the PSVR2 use this connection, which ensures uncompressed visuals and low latency. By contrast, the Quest 3 uses either Wi-Fi or a link cable, which does require the signal to be compressed, which can introduce visual artifacts and latency, basically causing all the details to look a little murky, which puts the Pimax as a clear winner in this category, unless, and here's where the asterisk comes in, if you've got really good fast internet like fiber optic and a really good Wi-Fi 6G router dedicated for your Meta Quest 3, you can download a magical program called Virtual Desktop. Just make sure it's not the one from Steam VR. It has to be from the Meta store. It is going to cost you another $25, but if you have a 4090 or above, you can run a mode that's called Godlike. And I don't know how they do it, but by some black magic and algorithms, it brings the image quality up to Pimax level, but you still may have some latency, as I have experienced some delay in the sound as I pull the trigger on my gun, but that could be that I just have my bitrate turned up too high. If you've got a Quest 3, there's no reason you shouldn't be using Virtual Desktop, which now brings us to the lenses. The Pimax Crystal Lite uses massive glass aspheric lenses.
And you know what else is massive?
The sweet spot. Combined with that massive resolution, it produces an excellent picture quality. The Quest 3 uses pancake lenses, and as much as I hate to admit it, they are the best lens, with the entire lens being the sweet spot. So in the lens category, the Quest will take number 1 spot, Pimax a number 2 spot, and the PlayStation,
you're still here?
With its plastic for nail lens and tiny sweet spot, it's been totally ignored at the party. Now let's talk about a category that may or may not be important to some people.
The binocular overlap.
And I have to thank MRTV for getting me interested in this category. It's the portion of your field of view that both eyes can see simultaneously, and it's key to stereo vision and depth perception. More binocular overlap makes things feel more realistic in VR. I've also read that a good binocular overlap can help against eye strain. And I'm one of those people that have a very wide IPD, so I may be more sensitive to this than others, but I've also been known to be a graphical hypochondriac, so I may be a little obsessive over visuals, and I think this is very subjective. So these are some of the numbers I found on the internet, and I do concur overall with the findings. So at number 1, even with the worst lens and sweet spot, is the PSVR2, with most of the lens overlapping. In second place is the Pimax Crystal Lite, with a high 83% overlap, and in last place is the Meta Quest 3, and the percentage numbers are all over the place from low 60s to 70, so I'll be generous and give it a 70%. I will say that because the lens are so good on the Pimax, and especially good on the Quest 3, having a lower binocular overlap on these headsets is not really noticeable. I would even say the IPD can be slightly off because the lens are so perfect. Next up is the head tracking. All three headsets use inside-out tracking with built-in cameras, which means no need for base stations, which is going to save you money. And I can confidently say that all three systems work very well 99% of the time. But for that 1% of the time where things just don't go perfect, I'm going to have to give the #1 spot to Meta. Their tracking is helped along by the Snapdragon XR2 chip, which helps reduce the load on the host system. Both the PlayStation and the Crystal Light offload the computing to your CPU, which does reduce weight, cost, and the need for cooling. And I have experienced that loss of tracking, which only lasts for a couple seconds, but when it does happen, it can be very disorienting. But thanks to Calvin at Pimax and watching his videos, after I did his steps, I haven't really experienced that problem again. In fact, I played last night for 3 hours with no loss of tracking. I would even say Pimax could leapfrog back into the #1 spot by using the Lighthouse faceplate. I personally have 4 base stations just sitting there doing nothing, crying out to be used. 4 is overkill, but I used them with my AKX, which had flawless tracking. And those tracking cameras are also what's used by the pass-through. Now, I don't use the pass-through much other than just to reach out and grab my drink, which is important, and I'd suggest using a straw when playing VR. Meta takes first place with its 4 megapixel 2.5K resolution color cameras. And this also may be why they have the better tracking. And while Sony hasn't released the exact resolution of its pass-through cameras, you can tell it is slightly higher resolution than Pimax, and the cameras are grayscale. Pimax will come in third with a resolution of 640 by 480 grayscale cameras. Pimax is constantly working to improve their SLAM algorithm, and I do appreciate that they've just released a video on why they use the cameras they do and how they're working to improve. Next, just for fun, let's test the FOV, and just a note, I have a large IPD which normally will give a smaller FOV, so my numbers will probably be smaller than yours. And also just for fun, we'll test all the built-in microphones. This is the microphone on the Meta Quest 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is the microphone on the Pimax Crystal Light. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is the microphone on the PSVR2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. For the FOV test, our head will be locked in place and we simply move the red bars until we can no longer see them. And you'll hear me talking sometimes with the other mic. My head is always tilted every time I come in here. I think I'm just a crooked person. My head is just on tilted. I can see both lines at 104, they disappear at 106. So I'm going to do 104. All right, try to not tilt my head. For this test, we move the red circles until we can no longer see them. This one I don't understand because the top marker disappears at 88, so I can see it at 86, but it disappears at 88. But I can still see the marker on the bottom. Listen, I'm just going to count the top because I feel like in dogfighting, the top is where we're going to be looking mostly. And at 86 is where I can see the top. So 104 for the horizontal, 86 for the vertical. So that is interesting. Yep, it's 100. Did not expect that. I mean, they're basically the same. Alrighty, here we go. So again, the top one goes out before the bottom one. So right at 86, I can see it right at 98 on the bottom. So let's just do the top one though. That's what we did before. 84. So this is what I got for the top, 84, vertical 84, horizontal 100. So I really thought this one was bigger. I don't know why. And for the PSVR2, I didn't have the microphone on, so we'll skip right to the results. And surprisingly, all 3 headsets are almost identical. And that's actually the way it feels when I'm playing. I honestly can't tell the difference in FOV. But let's put them side by side so you can easily compare. They're basically all 3 the same. Just for fun, let's throw in the 8KX. It's so big! Look at all that space on the side. I do miss that headset, but it just can't compete in clarity. Now, comfort is such a subjective area, and all 3 of these headsets require some kind of comfort upgrade, so I'm not going to pick a winner in this category, but I will go over some of my thoughts. Starting with the PSVR2, I thought it had the most potential, as when I first picked this headset up, it weighed almost nothing. I put it on, it was super light, and I thought it was going to be super comfortable. But in dogfighting, it simply just moves around too much. I end up over tightening it in the back, trying to keep it from slipping, but when you look straight up, that's when it slips. And because it's such a unique and proprietary design, there's just no head straps on the market that you can buy for it. The best I could do was spend $50 on cushions, which just didn't solve the problem. The Quest 3 is right in the middle, heavier than the PlayStation, lighter than the Pimax. You do have the freedom of not being cabled, but then you have the responsibility of having to charge the battery. For Sims, I personally would take the DisplayPort cable. The soft strap will immediately need to be replaced, and the face cushion is about as comfortable as rubbing your face on the carpet, but luckily all of that can be fixed with what seems to be an endless variety of upgrades. Now for the Pimax Crystal Light, I believe it may need a different face cushion for the Western market, as our faces seem to be a little more narrow. I find it needs wedges or shims on the side, but I found everything I needed to fix it at Studio Form, and thanks to those guys, I would say right now my Pimax Crystal Light to me is the most comfortable headset I have. That may sound hard to believe because it is the biggest and heaviest, but I just love that soft cushion in the front. And I did an entire video dedicated to Pimax comfort, making my Pimax Crystal Light darn near perfect, so check it out. For sound, I'll put Pimax first with its awesome DMI speakers, but it's also last if you don't upgrade to these. But a lot of times they have specials where they toss them in, so be sure to check the website. Second place is Meta, as they managed to get some pretty good sound out of some tiny little speakers on the side. And I put the PlayStation in third simply because I don't like earbuds, but if you like them, they are completely fine. And I even saw an advertisement for PH2 stereo headphones, so that's a good option as well. I do not use controllers in DCS, I use a HOTAS, so I couldn't tell you which controllers are best. I just thought it'd be fun to show you the different sizes. The Metas take batteries while the Pimax and the PlayStations need to be charged. I will add the PlayStation seems to run out of charge the quickest. So final thoughts, and remember these are my opinions, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I actually like all three of these headsets and will probably keep all three of them for different reasons. My channel is focused on DCS dogfighting, and I find that the experience with both the Meta and the Pimax Crystal Light is very similar, but the PlayStation VR2 unfortunately for me just doesn't cut the mustard. But I will keep it because of the dark OLED panels for my zombie games. But which headset is my choice for DCS? Well, if you've watched my channel, every short I made for the past 2 months was flown in the Pimax Crystal Light. And the reason it's my daily flyer is because for me it ticks most of the boxes I want in a VR headset. Good QLED panels, which gives good darks and vibrant colors, good binocular overlap, and I'm really sold on DisplayPort connection. I just don't want to have to worry about charging a battery. Plus you don't need a Facebook account, so that's just another plus. I've also customized this thing so much for my face that it feels like my baby. And if you decide that you are going to get a Crystal Light, make sure to hit the link in the description because that will help the channel.